Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Travis Hoffman. Today we're just going to kind of go over some security principles that have been failing due to the new remote working situation. So let's just start off by talking about some of those design failures. Four that I have noticed to be increasingly big issues are the data loss due to little to no encryption, the inadequate home network connectivity that some of our employees are having personal endpoint device use is another issue, and cloud services is something we've been dealing with as well. So in today's time, it's now a norm that remote work is happening ever since COVID, and you know, companies are starting to use it more and more. But there are certain design flaws that we need to kind of tweak in order to make sure that that network or that remote work environment is just as secure as being in the office. So let's just start off by talking about some of the core foundational principles of overall cybersecurity. That would be the CIA triad, or the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of all the information. So it's the foundation which cybersecurity is built upon. You know, these principles focus on the security of the information and overall data. The confidentiality just refers to information staying private or secret. The integrity of the information or the data is that that data is kept clear of any unauthorized changes or tampering. And then the availability just refers to applications and information performing and being able to be gathered and used as they should when they should. So they should be readily available whenever you need them. But yeah, that's kind of just the core foundations of cybersecurity. So I'm just going to start off by talking about that first failure, that design failure, which is data loss due to little to no encryption. So a lot of our employees at home are kind of just, they're spreading files and they're sharing them in an unsecure way. So we kind of have to start teaching them a little more about, let's encrypt, because those files can just easily be stolen while they're using them, while they're not using them, and also while they're sending them, they can be grabbed kind of in transit. So the violated principle here that we need to discuss is defense in depth. So we have our layered defense strategy, which the encryption layer is a big part of that strategy. So right here, if the employees are not using any encryption on their files and they're just sending them between coworkers, that could be an issue. So we just kind of we're going to start need to look at that and kind of teach them a little bit of encryption and how to do it at home. Another big one, inadequate network connectivity. A lot of these employees are going home, or they're doing work, at a coffee shop or somewhere where the network is not secure. Um, that could be a big risk just because attackers can piggyback their way into our system. They could bypass authentication, which is another huge one where we focus heavily on very, very, very good authentication methods. So bad actors being able to piggyback their way into the system is something we cannot have happening. That violates this principle of complete mediation, which are our authentication methods, because if people are able to just get into the system without having to go through the authentication, they can just piggyback off of our employees. That is an issue. So we need to, provide a company-wide VPN, or start. We have a VPN for the company, but we need to start using that for people at home as well, so that that can be a secure connection and that no one can just get into the system however they want. So the next one will be personal endpoint device use. That's a huge one because people go home and they use their own devices, and a lot of the times those devices aren't secure or they aren't updated. Um, Another big one is that they save their login information. All their information is saved on there so they can easily log in. That could just lead to easily unauthorized access of the computer, and also the updating issue. That leads a lot of holes and vulnerabilities for bad actors to break their way in and steal that information. But this violates the principle of minimizing the trust surface. We want that device to kick you out every time so that you have to log in and go through the authentication methods. But if you have your saved information, then it just makes it easy for anyone to access the system. So that one we will have to work on and kind of teach our employees to, if they're going to use their personal devices, that make sure it's logged out and no information is saved. The last one we're going to talk about is the cloud service issues. So the cloud service, it's become increasingly more popular, but it could be difficult to understand for our employees that are not technically advanced. We've been having a lot of issues. Sometimes, it's not configured the way it needs to be, and this can confuse the employees, which leads them to not even use the cloud, which we need them to use the cloud because that is our secure way of saving information. They will save that information on their home computers or home devices, and that's just not what we need. We can't have that happening, because that just leads to that information being able to, again, be accessed, be stolen, be changed. And that's not what we need. This violates the principle of usability, because if our employees aren't able to use the system we're providing to them, that's an issue. So we might have to just run some trainings, get them more comfortable with the cloud system, and that should be able to fix the issue, but we will continue to work on that. So these failures in relation to the CIA triad, as we talked earlier, all the failures 1, 2, 3, and 4 directly impact this because they allow unauthorized access and leaks. That takes away all the secrecy of the documents, because if people are able to access them and see them, they're no longer secret. The integrity, all 4 of those also lead to the integrity, because it allows people to be easily access that information, steal it, change the information. That destroys the integrity of the data or information. Only failures 2 and 4 are directly related to availability. Those are the only 2 that kind of have a direct impact on how the information is accessed, because if your network connectivity is not very good, then you're not going to be able to access the information as you need. And if you can't get into the cloud where your information is, then you will have an issue with your availability there as well. So the principles, just for a recap, we need these principles to update and make our systems more secure and easy for our employees to understand. We need weekly trainings just to ensure all encryption on sensitive files, fix that defense in depth. We need secure home networks and increasing authentication methods. This means providing a company-wide VPN so that complete mediation is fulfilled. We need to utilize company devices for company projects, take away those personal devices, because we need to minimize the trust surface and only allow company work to be done on company devices. And then we need to do company-wide trainings on the cloud and the cloud's importance, so that the usability is more streamlined for our employees. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and feel free to email me. I will answer to the best of my ability. Thank you so much and have a great day.